Hey guys, and welcome to another live stream. This is going to be the final live stream of this series where we are going to create the VR website in Adobe XD. We started off this series a few weeks back when we created these paper wireframes, which I have right here. So we used these to sketch the first part of our wireframing series, and also there is a part 2 because I show you that you can create something like this on multiple pieces of paper. It really doesn't matter. The whole point here is to convey the picture to your stakeholders or to your design bodies in your team, or to your clients or to your developers. And then after that we took it over to Adobe XD where we created wireframes. And then last week, in the last week's live stream, we took those wireframes and we created a design. As I said, in today's live stream, we are going to focus on prototyping. We are going to add some sweet animations to it. And I'm also going to show you at the very end of this live stream, how can you create a parallax effect from that particular design. So we are going to wire it up. And if you want to check out the parallax effect in full effect, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, which is Alex on Design, right here. And I'm also on Behance, so make sure to check me out there, which is Web Donut. And finally, because this is a website design, I created an Inception design system, which is the biggest design system ever created for Adobe XD for this particular purpose. So make sure to check it out at inceptiondesignsystem.co. Finally, if you want to get all of my courses, digital design products, private access to my Facebook group, and all of the practice file for my YouTube tutorials, including my live streams, including this one, then make sure to check out my website, which is alexondesign.co. Before we move on any further, hi to everybody in the chat. Today we are live streaming to my YouTube channel, as I mentioned, to my Behance page, to my Twitter account, and so many other places, including my private Facebook group. So hi everybody, and before I jumped into today's topic, which is this VR website prototyping, I want to announce something, which is I'm going to be part of Adobe Live later today and also tomorrow. This is going to be a two-part event. So here is the event picture right here. This event, we are going to create mobile app in Adobe XD, which is going to be a prototyping app in Adobe XD for coffee. So you're going to be able to order coffee through this app, and you are going to be able to make sure to purchase it through this app. So if you're interested, I'm going to post a link in the chat, and make sure to check it out. It's Behance .net/Adobe Live. As I mentioned, this is going to be a two-part event. So today in 8 hours time, and also tomorrow same time, so it's 9 p.m. CET. It's going to be a 2-hour event today, 2-hour event tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by awesome Jack Watson, who is going to host this event. Once again, it's going to be on Adobe Live, so if you're interested to check it out, make sure to go there and make sure to learn something new with me and also with Jack. Before I get started, hi Talha, I'm good. How are you? I'm glad that you're a fan. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting these live streams. And let's now get started. So here is where we left off the previous time. As I mentioned, this is the file. And once again, before we get going, you can get this practice file if you join my membership. A link is going to be in the chat and in the description of my YouTube live stream. So first things first, we started off with this paper wireframe right here, and these are the papers I just showed you. I just took a quick picture of them because my scanner broke and I didn't really have the time to replace it, but I wanted to show you that it's possible for you to do just this. You can simply snap pictures, bring them on into Adobe XD, align them just like this, and you can show this straight to your client if you put these into Artport, just like this one, and then go ahead and share it right here. You can share that link with your client and get feedback directly onto your paper wireframe, so you don't have to wait to create this sort of wireframe. You can just do it inside of the paper wireframe. Then in the episode after that, we created this. So let me quickly bring it up and show you. This is the wireframe where we actually started. We didn't put any kind of animation inside on purpose because I wanted to break this process down into few live streams just to show you what can be done right here. So as I said, this is the wireframe that we created. We created some blob shape using that blobular plugin. Then this was the placeholder for our Lottie animations, which I got from Envato Elements. I'm going to show you that collection in just a second. Then we broke these into sections. We included some cards right here. then another shape with the blob inside, and then the text was flipped on the other side. This is going to be a video placeholder for the video which is going to play in the background. Then cutting edge tech, this is for the main sort of products in this website. This is the testimonial section with an image inside, all in one headset. So this is where the headset is going to go, headset for the VR obviously. This is for some sort of accessories and all accessories. Finally, the blob shape on this side once again, and the footer at the very bottom. After we're done with that, then we moved on to this, which is the design which we created in the last week's episode. Let me preview that really quickly so that you can see how it's going to look like. So here we have just one video. Here we have a button now in color because we created all of these colors in the last week's episode. Here is that Lottie animation, which is going to play on loop all the time. And then we created all of these awesome illustrations, included them inside. Then we have this section with this image, video, which is going to play in the background on tap. And in this episode, I'm going to actually explain why this has to be done this way. Then we have these right here. We have this section, so we included an image, we included a few colors here and there. And finally, we have the big image of a headset, these options right here, and we have this at the very bottom with this Lottie animation playing around. If you're wondering where I got all of these images from, and I got them from Envato Elements, this is the collection I was using. Feel free to check out the link in the description and in the chat of this live stream to check out this collection for yourself and to grab all of these items for yourself if you're interested. So this is the premium collection. Of course, you will have to license it for your projects, but if you're interested, link is there, and there are plenty more options right here, including these images, which I didn't include for this particular design, but I just left them inside as an option for you. As you can see, I collected some illustrations, a lot more videos inside, so you can use these videos if you want to, a bunch of these different awesome mockups, green screens, so if you want to key it out in something like After Effects, Premiere, Filmora Pro, whatever you want to use, you can key it out and simply drag the blank video inside of your Adobe XD, positioning in place, and then use it like that. So that's the collection, and now let's get back to our design. So as I said, in today's live stream, we are going to prototype these. We are going to make some awesome animations. Let me check the chat. Hi everybody, and let me just lower this light really quickly because I think it's a bit too bright. There we go. So let's get started. First things first, we are going to actually animate this section of our website because that's going to be basically the biggest selling point of this particular website. So how we are going to do this is we are going to switch over to our layers panel, jump in right here, and we can create a full component out of this one, or we can simply rename this video to videos like this. And I'm going to hit Ctrl or Command K to turn this into a component like this. As you can see, we now have the default state. And basically what I want to do is I have 4 different videos, so I want to create 4 different states. So right here I'm going to click this plus, create video 2 like this, and then I'm going to open it up, select my video, and then locate my videos inside of my folder. This is how they look like, by the way. So I just labeled them video 1, 2, 3, and 4. Drag and drop your video inside. There you go. For some reason it went onto this place, so let me actually try to drag it into a mask. Is it going to work that way? Yeah. Okay, so now we have video 2, which is great. Switch it over to video 3. Open it up once again, select the mask, drag and drop it inside until it becomes blue. That means it's going to replace it with that particular video. And finally, let's go back to video 4 and open it up once again, select the video 4, drag and drop it in place. There we go. And now comes the time for us to prototype these. So the whole idea behind this is when this video plays, let me hit Ctrl or Command Enter to play this around. You can see how this looks like. So it just stops at the very end of this video because the video is really short. I think it's something like 4 to 5 seconds long, something like that. So it's going to stop. The idea here is you can stitch these in any kind of software, even free tools, but I like to use, for example, Filmora Pro or Premiere Pro to stitch these to create one big video. But in XD, you have the option which is called end of playback. So how we are going to do this, simply go to the default state, switch to the prototype mode right here. And all we need to do right here is to select this. It's going to show the time trigger. We are going to choose video playback. We are going to choose the play. And the idea behind this is to select another one. So click on it. Then we are going to use, let me just check what I did in my original example right here. Because we need to select this, so let me go back one more time to here. And then I'm going to tap right here on this plus. So here, instead of tap, I'm going to choose end of playback. For the transition, I'm going to choose transition. Then destination is going to be video 2, because the video 2 is where we want it to end up at the end. For the animation, we want none. And as you can see, it's going to gray out this part, which is really important. And why is this important? Because we just want it to snap into position. So after the first video ends, we just want it to snap onto video 2. Then video 2 is going to start playing immediately. And then when it ends, we want it to snap to video 3. So you can play around with these settings if you want to right here. But as I said, I just wanted to go to the end and then start playing the video number 2. So before we move on to prototyping all of those other ones, let's preview this really quickly. It's going to stop and then start this video. But I need to go to video number 2, open this up like this, select my video, go back to the design actually, and right here you're going to see it says no playback. Right here, we want to select play automatically, because when it switches from the state 1 to the state 2, we want the video to start immediately. So that's why we chosen play automatically. We are going to go to the video 3, since we are here, do the same thing. So instead of no playback, play automatically, close this up, video 4, select your video and play automatically. And now after we've done that, switch to prototype. So we prototype this first one. Let's go to the second one. I'm going to select this one, click on my plus, end of playback. It's going to select all of these settings which we chosen in the first state, but now we want it to go to video 3, like so. Animation, none. So what I want to do is select video 3, click right here, click on the plus to add end of playback, same settings, go back, click on the video 4. And here what we want is to select this, click plus, but now we want it to go to the default state because we want it to loop all the time. So let me just go back and check if I selected everything. So video 3 works. This end of playback works in this section, takes us to the video 3. Inside of the video 3, let's check what we've selected right here. Oh, so for the video 3, we didn't select it, so end of playback. That's why it's always wise to check. And finally, video 4, let's click right here. It goes end of playback to the default state. So let's quickly check this out. Go back to the default state, hit Control or Command Enter to go into a quick preview. It stops, plays the video number 2. Let me hide myself so you can see it. It stops, plays the video number 3. And finally stops, plays the video number 4. And let's check it out and see if it goes back to the start. Yes, it does. So there you go. That's how easy it is to wire these up. Just remember, hit that little plus icon and then add another interaction. Instead of tap, switch it over to end of playback. After this video ends, it's going to start playing that second video. But here is our issue before I move on into chat, because I see we have a bunch of comments. If I scroll all the way down, you can see that this video doesn't play. This is what I mentioned in the previous live stream. I have to click on it. It is going to start playing, but if I quickly go right here, you can see that these videos stopped. So this is the issue with XD at the moment, but I believe, and I heard some rumors here and there, that they are going to update it in the coming months, in the coming updates, to enable us to have all of these videos playing at the same time. We are going to play around with all of these time triggers like I just showed you, and playback for example, but it is going to be possible at the end of the day. Let me quickly check the chat. So let's see. Sirish says how to determine that particular design fits for the particular client. You have to use the user research. So you have to research your client. You have to research their competition. You have to research the niche they are in. And basically you have to figure out the best way to serve that client and that niche. He also says, how much time did you spend before the prototype? And please make a video on brainstorming and meeting with clients. For the second one, I am going to make it in the future, but basically for now it's not on the books because I'm creating courses about it. So you can check out my courses at alexondesign.co as I mentioned. But how much time did you spend before the prototype? If you mean on this design, this was all done in one day. So basically I had the idea in the morning and up until like 4 or 5 p.m. the design, prototyping, everything was done. Because I'm doing this for almost 15 years, so I know how to structure all of these things. But for beginners it can take from anywhere from 2 to 3 days to a week to a month. It really depends of your skill set and how much time are you willing to invest in doing something like this. So let's switch back to our design and let me just check. My camera broke, I think. Yeah, so sadly, we are going to, I think, be without this camera, but nevertheless, let's go back to our design. So this is where we left off. This is what we finished. So now you see that we have all of these buttons. So I'm going to switch back to the design, select my button, call it main button as we did, and I'm going to hit Control or Command K to turn it into a component, then create my hover state, call it hover, like this. And for the hover, I'm going to select my button background and I'm going to choose this dark blue, for example. And let's see, maybe we can round this back to 0 like this, or maybe to 10. Let's see. Yeah, I think 10 works fine. So let's switch back to the default state. Let's hit preview one more time and just hover right here. And you can see that it changes color and that it switches to this, but you're going to notice that the video stopped. This is another bug which I noticed and I reported it to Adobe XD team because I don't know if you know, I'm an Adobe XD ambassador. I'm working closely with them all the time. So I reported this bug to them and hopefully they are going to fix it in the coming months. But I don't know, it's something in the back end, like when you collect all of these elements, put them together, sometimes they are going to be these bugs. But if I launch the prototype again, for example, and show you this one more time, you can see if I hover my mouse anywhere outside, it is going to play. When the video starts, it's going to work, but just now it's going to switch. So it's just at certain points, if you hover your mouse, it is going to pause it, but you can see it still works. So it really depends when are you going to hover your mouse. So now that we have this component, what I'm going to do is jump inside of each of these and replace them basically with this particular component. So I'm going to drag it inside like this. And I'm going to bring it right here, and you can see that we have 37, but we should have 40 because that was the distance, I think. 48. Let me actually check on this, for example. So yeah, it's 48 because we included a stack previous time. So 48, everything is fine. And instead of customize yours, I'm going to actually use this text because I'm a bit lazy. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this button. Switch back to my layers panel. Here we are, main button. So I'm going to select this state, get yours, and then switch to the hover state, get yours. There we go. And the whole point here is this is the instance or the child component of our main component. So in the main component, what we have is customize yours. In this child instance, we have get yours. The button is the same. Hover interaction is exactly the same. Just now we are going to switch the text. So let's quickly preview this and see if it works. Here it does. And here it just says get yours. So I like how that looks like, and I'm basically going to turn these. So here we have this get yours. So I'm going to actually select this button, Control C, and move on over to this section, which says redefine gaming. Jump inside, Control V, bring it over into this stack, and make sure to position it right here. I'm going to get rid of this one. Oops, sorry, not that. It should actually go here. So when I get rid of this, it is going to retain this distance of 48. And now let's switch on over to here. It says customize yours. So I'm going to simply drag that original component in. There we go. Make sure to position it in the center. Let's see where we are. So not redefine gaming. Let's actually select this section and drag our main component in. Position it to be in the center and right here. Move it on down, get rid of this one. And let's see if we have another one. There it is. So this one is get yours. So because I have it in a clipboard, I think I'm going to simply hit, Control V or Command V to paste it. Get rid of this one. 48 is right here. So there we go. Now we have all of our hover state buttons in place. What's left for us to animate are these particular sections, and we can animate this on hover just to make it a bit more interesting. So let me actually check if we did. Yeah, we did this. We can do these if you want to, just to make them clickable. What you can do in this case is add a background shadow. So let me select one of them and basically go right here where it says drop shadow. I'm going to add 5, 5, 15 just for the dramatic effect, just so that you can see it, but of course never add something this strong. And there you go, you now have the background shadow. So if you want them to be able to click on these cards, then on hover just add a background shadow. That's basically how it works. But because we don't have any other pages on this particular design, I'm just going to leave this unchecked like so and simply move on to the next section, because I want to show you the parallax effect at the very end. Here what we're going to do is select all of these and turn them into a component, because we went ahead and finished all of these. There we go. So right here I'm going to click and simply get rid of this underline. Click right here, get rid of this underline, and click right here and get rid of this underline. So what I'm going to do is show you how to turn these into components. So hit Control K on each folder like this, and for each folder we're just going to add hover. So I'm going to call it hover, copy this text, click right here, add another hover, Control V, click right here, add another hover, Control V, there we go. For this hover, what I want is, first things first, I want to make sure I'm on a hover. I am. Select this one and select underline. And for this image, I just want to rotate it slightly. So for example, something like this, or perhaps in another direction. Maybe not that big, maybe something like this. There we go. I can even enlarge it just a bit like this. So let's quickly test it out and see how it looks. And you're going to notice I'm testing things out all the time, because that's just best practice to do, just to see how things look like. There we go. I think that looks just fine. So let's go ahead and do the same for all of these. How a beginner in UI UX design can earn from start. So Sirish, if you're thinking about making money from start, then I would recommend websites which are not that demanding. For example, websites like Fiverr, websites like Upwork, websites like 99 Designs. So just make sure you practice at the start. Money will come at the end. I know you're thinking about, I want to make as much money as fast as possible, but if you don't know the fundamentals, if you've never worked with clients before, if you don't know how to figure out goals and the needs of your clients, because it's nothing about you, it's all about them. What can you do for them on their particular project? So make sure to think about these things, because designers often mistaken these two things, say like, okay, I'm this talented designer. Nobody cares. The only thing business owners care is how can you help them solve their problems in their particular niche, on their particular product. So they don't care about if you've worked with, let's say, car websites before. Have you worked with car websites in my niche? for example, let's say car washing websites or car polishing websites or car detailing websites or something like that. So if you are in their niche, they are going to want you to work with them because you solve the problems they have before already. So make sure to build your portfolio, make sure to build relationships, make sure to take your time. As I mentioned previously during this live stream, I've been doing this for 15 years, so you can just imagine how many clients have I worked with and how many clients' stories have I listened to in the past. So make sure to think about that. It always takes time. This is the number one mistake I see young designers make, is they want to do this now. There is no now. You have to work on it. You have to dedicate your life to it, basically, in order for you to be good and in order for you to make awesome money. You can make just basic money with design. You can go to Fiverr, as I said, create a gig over there, or go to 99 Designs, participate in those contests, and then build your credibility and portfolio. That way you are going to earn some money eventually. Then you can move on to Upwork, for example, and then after you've done all of these things, then you can work with full-time clients. Otherwise, just find a junior job and start there. Perhaps you're going to find an internship which is going to be unpaid, which is going to be free. You have to work for free there for like 6 months or a year maybe, and then start like junior designer with lower salary, and then mid-year designer after 2 or 3 years. It really all depends up to you. I hope that answers your question. And now let's get back to our design. So where we left off is, let's go ahead and create this one for the hover. So one more time, I'm going to select this one, click right here for the underline, and for this one, let's just rotate it something like this maybe, and let's perhaps scale it just a touch. There we go. Go back to the default, click right here, select our hover, click, and then select our underline. There we go. And now for our person, what I want her to do is to extend a bit. So I'm going to select her. Once again, these are from Envato elements. So not this, but this image. Click, shift, like this maybe. Maybe I want her to rotate a bit. Maybe something like this, and just make sure to extend this mask so she's not cut off on hover. There we go. Now all three are default state. Hit Control Enter to launch the preview. Let's scroll all the way down to here, and now let's see how they look like. So this is on hover actually, so let me switch it over. So this should be on default state, this is on default, this is on default, so there we go. Let's now see. So it works, this works, there we go, and this works as well. So I like how that looks like. All of these are good. Here we are not going to change anything, so let's just deal with this all-in-one headset. So let's go to here, all-in-one headset. As I said, I'm just going to, for example, for this first state, let's see, 1200, let's copy that, with 656. So just remember that. I'm going to turn it into a component, and I'm going to go to the hover state, call it hover, and here we are going to retain this, so 1200 with 656, but on this one, let's just lower it down a touch like this. So 1200, let's lock it. So like this, so actually let me copy this, it's much simpler. So let's just lower it down here on hover. I'm going to go with 1200 with, look on me, 1200 by 6, 1200. Something is not working quite right, so let me just refresh my screen and go back to here. So 1200. Actually, no. Let's just scale it up like this and try to reach those values, because sometimes we are going to have these bugs. So here we go, 1201. I'm satisfied with it. Let's not get bogged down with that. So let's go to hover. Let's quickly check it out and see how it looks like, because I think it's going to scale from the side. So on hover, yeah, it is going to scale from the side. So I don't really like that, so I'm going to get rid of this hover effect, because at the end, as I said, we are going to go ahead and let's get rid of it here. We are going to work with, as I said, the parallax effect. So I'm going to show you that in just a second, but let's now deal with these ones for the end, and we are going to bring this to a close. So here, let's close all of these sections. What I'm going to do here is turn these into their own separate components, because I want them to be able to scale a bit on hover. So case, Control K, cable, Control K, and shop all, Control K. For the cable, for the case, let's go and create a hover state like this. Hover. I'm going to select this because, as I said, I'm a bit lazy. Go to the hover, and go here. Create a hover, paste in this hover, and now that we have all three, what I'm going to do in this case is simply for the hover, just make sure you are on a hover. I'm going to select my image, which is this one, and simply extend it a bit, enlarge it a bit like this. Switching over to cable, we are on hover, locate my charging cable, and I'm going to extend it just a bit, but not all the way out. Actually, yeah, let's leave it like that. And for shop all, the only thing I want to do on hover right here is this right arrow, move it 20 pixels to the right. So we are, instead of 20, we are 40. So shop all, go to the default state, cable, default state, case, default state, there we go. And let's hit Control Enter one more time to preview, see how that looks like. Scroll all the way down to this section, hover. You can see it works quite nicely. And here we have this arrow moving to this direction, so users can click here to explore all of these other accessories. And with that, basically, we are done. So let me actually walk you through before we move on, and let me hide this suspicious comment. Let me actually walk you through this entire process one more time. So what we did, we included these videos as backgrounds. We created these hover effects. Then here we have this Lottie animation playing. Here we have Get Yours button. Here we didn't include anything, but as I just mentioned, we have Lottie right here. We have this right here. We have this video playing on tap in the background. Then here we included these hover effects. Get inspired. We have this section. We have this with Customize Yours. Here we have these hover effects. Here we have this Lottie playing in the background, Get Yours. This works just fine. And now that all of that is finished, you can see how that looks like. So let me just quickly go ahead and save. Hi Chalef, you are a bit late, but it's not your fault. Actually, I started this live stream a bit sooner than usual because I'm doing Adobe Live a bit later. As I mentioned, link is going to be in the chat, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. It's going to be a 2-day event. So today, in about 7 hours, I'm going to start the first session, which is going to be 2 hours long. We are going to design a mobile app from scratch in Adobe XD, and tomorrow, same time, we are going to do the prototyping. We are going to do the design, dragging in images, colors, mood boards, and all sorts of different things. So if you're interested, the link is in the chat. Make sure to check it out, or go to Adobe Live on Behance, so Behance/Adobe Live, to check it out if you are interested. But thank you so much for being here. Let's go back to our design, and final thing I want to show you for today is how can you turn this design into a parallax effect. So you know about parallax effect, and this Wednesday actually I'm going to put on a tutorial on my YouTube channel, which is Alex on Design on YouTube. And in that tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create parallax using all sorts of different effects. But for now, for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is hit Control D on our entire design, move it over to right here, select all of my elements, and simply group them, call them website, like this. And then what I'm going to do is lower down this and make sure that the width of my artboard is 1920 by 1080, for example. Then I'm going to call this one Hero, for example. Then I'm going to duplicate it. And here I'm going to say, what was the other section? Explore. So call it Explore, like this. And I'm going to double click and drag this explore section basically until I cannot see my hero videos anymore, somewhere around here, for example. What I'm going to do here in this one is click on my images. So click on my girl image and make sure to move it out of place. Make sure to move this down and select my text, for example. Make sure to move my button, make sure to move my text right here, and right here slide it all the way out of the view. And because it's all in one big group, elements are going to be retained inside. Then let's duplicate this one. And what was the next section? Possibilities. So let's call it possibilities. Then I'm going to slide this section up. So let's take our entire website, slide it up and put this right around here, for example. So for here, what we need is we need this girl from this page. So select her here, Control C, and I'm going to go right here, hit Control V to position it in place to roughly around, let's see here. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of this Explore New Worlds, like so. And for this one, I'm just going to put it out of the way like this, because we want this to slide out and slide back in once again after it completes. And finally, for this third section, what we need is to come right here. And let's say I want to put my text a bit down. And I want these two cards. So first of all, let's go ahead and move them like this. Like so. And just take these cards and position them right around here. And then I'm going to click right here and move this. So let's actually do it like this. It's much simpler. So just take your shift key and just position them that way. I'm going to make sure to find the middle point, something like this. There we go. And maybe nudge this text even more down. There we go. And let's see, should we create this one? Sure, why not? So Control D. And the next section is this one. So redefine gaming. So first of all, let's call this gaming. And I'm going to click right here, select my entire folder, drag this into about here maybe. There we go. And finally, for this one, I want to select these. So unlimited possibilities, click right here and replace these ones, because I want to have exactly the same effect. So just put them right here, make sure everything is in the center, move it right around here maybe. And let's see, unlimited possibilities should go here. Make sure that your folder order is the same because of auto animate in order for it to work. And let's now wire this up. So I'm going to switch to prototype because I couldn't be bothered with these further sections, but you get the point. The only thing you need is to make all of your R ports the same size. So whether you're using 1920 by 1080, 1280 by 700, whichever R board, make sure to make them all the same width and height. And finally, make sure to group the content inside and make sure to keep the same layer order and the same group order inside in order for auto animate to work. So we need a quick fire up. So I'm going to make sure when I select this text, it is going to take me to this page. Okay, so I'm going to use tab. I'm going to use auto animate right here. I'm going to use ease in out and let's say 3 seconds. And for this one, what I'm going to do is select the title and do the same for this section. So you can see it's going to retain the same settings. Select the title right here, is going to retain the same settings. But now what if I want to go back? Then I'm going to select this, which is the paragraph. Click right here and it's going to take me right here. Click on my paragraph, it's going to take you here. And click on this paragraph, it's going to take you here because you want to show that effect going back and forward. Late again, hi Samani, don't worry about it. As usual, it's going to be a replay of this live stream later, so you can pick it up, but you came at the best possible part because this was the funnest part in my opinion. So here we have created this previously. As you can see, it still works. So these videos are going to play in the background. Everything's going to look nice and clean. Let me hide myself so you can see the full picture. And when the video switches, the hover effect works just fine. But now when I click on this text, you can see this effect. So here Lottie is still playing in the background. Everything works as it should, but now when I click right here, we have this fun effect. And when I click right here once again, we have this awesome effect. So let me know in the chat what you think about this. And don't forget, when we click right here, it is going to go back to here. When we click right here, it's going to go back to here. And finally, when we click right here, it is going to take us back to our videos, which are going to start playing in the background automatically. I think this awesome effect called Parallax is awesome. It's amazing. It just takes a bit more time to set it up. And don't forget, usually you are going to use this Parallax effect on your home pages, on your landing pages. So once again, let's close this up and let's wrap up this live stream. Whatever you're doing, make sure to put the same artboard size for all of them. That way it is going to work just fine. Then make sure to have all of your content group inside of the main group, which is the website in this case, and make sure to have your sections group into separate groups, which you can see right here. So here, explore new worlds, what we already done in the previous live streams. Then when you do an animation, you can see that this is the state where the animation is going to start for this girl. This is the state where it is going to end. So make sure to create these two separate states. Then when you go outside of the animation, if I just left this animation for this part, it is just going to slide up, but I don't want it. I want it to go back to the original state, which is this state. So just make sure to copy and paste and play around with these settings. You can play with opacities, you can play with the sizing, you can play with the typography sizes, you can play with different colors for the icons, you can play with different Lottie files, you can include different videos. So it's all up to you and what you want to achieve for your particular website. So for the end, let's quickly preview it one more time and let me show you how fun it is. So when I click right here, everything is going to slide into place. Click right here, and because it's 3 seconds long, it leaves just enough room for all of these animations to happen. And of course, we can animate all of the other parts down below if we want to. I just didn't want to take too much of your time because we are running at 45 minutes already for this particular live stream. And the fun bit is videos are still going to play in the background. So once again, if you want to get this practice file, make sure to join my membership, which is alexondesign.co. If you want to get this practice file and all other practice file which I created, make sure to check it out. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Alex on Design. Check me out on Behance, which is Web Donut. So it's a sort of my business page right over there. And don't forget to check out inceptiondesignSystem.co for the biggest design system for Adobe XD ever created. Before I wrap up, I want to thank you everybody for watching. And don't forget, if you want to check out Adobe Live, make sure to join me in 8 hours time. It is going to be super fun. We are going to create this mobile app design in Adobe XD for coffee ordering app. So if you want to check it out, make sure to join me there. Once again, link is going to be in a chat, or you can go to behance.net/Adobe Live. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. I really hope you enjoyed it, especially the parallax part. I think it's really fun to include something like that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow me everywhere for much more content to come. Thank you so much once again for watching, and until next time, take care.